Y'all want to see my cat? This is Uno. He's very fat. Very cute. Say hi. So today I'm going to be talking about actually probably my second favorite TV show. I'm really just going to be doing sort of like a deep dive into a specific scene or two that I really enjoy from the show. I think the show has amazing chops. I really like the actors and actresses that play in this. In season 2 of episode 3 of the show, there's a very strong scene, and it comes at the latter half, really the end of the episode. Barry is walking out of the theater with Sally right behind. He's fucking up his lines, and he goes to get a breath of fresh air. Sally's right behind him, and they run into Sally's ex-boyfriend, who did beat the fuck out of her. So this is a very interesting point. This is one of the first moments in the show where you as an audience member root for violence, at least on my side. I wanted to see Barry kill this fucking guy. I wanted to see him beat the fuck out of him. I feel like that's a very normal thing. I like vengeance. But the really scary part about this is that we know what Barry is going through. We know that when his head is turned away from the camera, he looks back and his eyes are wide and his brow is furrowing. It's a terrifying scene. We know what this dude is capable or willing to do in order to keep his best interests up. But imagine what he would do for something as strong as love. That's why this is so scary, because we're like, oh fuck, he's gonna kill this guy. In the following episode 4, there are 2 moments that show you that Barry cares a lot about this girl. You can see it when Sally runs out of the rehearsal room and she's flipping the fuck out, and he has to calm her. And she has to explain to Barry that she didn't leave on her own volition. She left, ran away. Also in the same episode where Sam throws it in Barry's face that he had it first, which is pretty fucking crazy when you think about it. It's a wild thing to say. When I was writing, I actually wrote it when I finished. So I was actually pointing to examples that happen after the scene, his wide eye scene. And it makes rewatches a lot more potent because you know what Barry is capable of an episode or 2 after. You know what he's capable of 2 seasons after and what's happened. So it just becomes more impactful, more thrilling, more exciting every time you see it. The Wind also has an asterisk. In this show, there's a lot of auditory storytelling, and I find that really interesting because a lot of shows don't really do that. There is a wind that comes in and out throughout the 2nd season. I believe that it's also there in the 3rd and somewhat in the 4th. It's pretty much just a reminder of what Barry has done. The first time we get a peek into Barry's past and an explanation of what the wind is in the 1st episode of the 2nd season. Barry is determined to make a change in his life and to stop doing what Fuchs is asking him to do. And amidst of all the issues with Janice being dead and Mr. Cousineau being distraught, debating if he should close the theater or not, Barry is forced into a corner. That corner being needing to tell his story of the first person he killed in war. This gives us a flashback to Sanjin. He was on fire watch and he was with his platoon and he was ordered to kill people from very far away with a sniper rifle. He exceeded and was an excellent killer. He was celebrated for this, and it was treated as if he had won the Nobel Peace or a Pulitzer. He was ecstatic. It was the first time he felt like he belonged, and that was tied with killing somebody. I don't think that his PTSD comes from this necessarily. In the flashback, he seems ecstatic and he's actually welcomed and he likes being loved and celebrated. This has caused a distortion in his perception of what murder is, what community is, and what garners celebration. But it does plant a seed that murder is justifiable. When he tells this story, he becomes more isolated from the world. Think about when he was on stage explaining the story. Everyone was so in shock and so concerned for him. He had to lie to fit in with normal people. That isolation, isolation only feeds into his character.
Just for some much needed context, it's important to know that the story I'm about to tell is revealed to the audience in I think the second season, episode 4, where Barry tells his real story to Mr. Kusano. It's a sun-stricken day in the Korangal Valley, a setting sandwiched just between the Afghanistan and Pakistan borders. Barry, along with his squad mates, were conducting their typical day-to-day operations when a sudden shot rang out. Albert falls to the ground. Barry immediately drops down to apply basic first aid as bullets volley overhead. With just moments passing, Barry is cut short by the sounds of wind whistling and the sight of a nearby door closing. Barry became tunnel-visioned and set his sight on the otherwise unassuming home only 15 feet from him. He busts the door down and brings his gun to chest height, firing 8 shots into the first man he sees. Cries of the family let out, and Barry's team comes in to neutralize him. Turns out, he just got the wrong guy. So the initial plan was to pull clips from the show and give you guys some of the funniest moments, but there's a fuck ton of clips out there and a fuck ton of videos you can find with really funny moments from the show. Point still stands. Love the show. It's a great one, and I really hope you guys check it out sometime. But besides that, I really don't have anything else to say. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. It took me a really long time just because I was editing it almost on a week-to-week basis, really. I think it's pretty good, so I appreciate you guys watching, and stick around.
You want to say bye? Say bye, buddy. See you guys.